Welcome back, everybody. This is Wings of Wax, and we are playing Slay the Spire today. Last run, we ended up losing it, I believe, on the third act. I believe it was Deca and Donut. I don't really remember because I've been spending so much time working and also trying to set up this new station downstairs in my basement where I actually do my work for my own businesses. Anyways, so today we're going to be playing, I think, some Ironclad again. I would like to try to get a win before I move on to the next class. That is probably going to be the best thing for us. I don't know. I also really just want to be, I wouldn't say like a completionist, but I really want to try to get an Ironclad win just because it would make me feel a lot better. So let's get started with him, see what choices we get, see if we get like an early direction to be able to build the deck. That would be ideal. So we reach the boss to receive more blessings. We can either choose enemies to start with 1 HP for the next 3 combats, or we can gain 8 max HP. I actually kind of dig the 3 enemies being at 1 HP, just because it makes it so that way we can just do easy mode for the first 3 rooms, be able to collect a couple of cards, maybe find some synergies that work well together. Excuse me, kitty cats are in the room too, so they're getting into chaos and trouble over here. They're looking for things to play with, so I got to keep an eye every once in a while on them. So yeah, I'm not really, I don't think 8 max HP is really going to be super duper helpful, so I'd rather go with something that actually is just straight up more helpful for us right now. And looking at our map, I would love to hit this elite right here because it will pay out double relics, which usually it'll pay out a relic and a key piece, which I am a-okay with. We also have 2 more elites if we go up this way, so I'm actually thinking that might be the direction. So let's see. If we don't get an encounter here or an encounter here, or if I choose to go this way, I guess it doesn't really matter, then we could potentially have our elite start off at 1 HP, which is something that I've tried to do with a lot of these runs, and it's worked out a couple of times here and there. The other direction is obviously we could go this way and potentially not hit 1 or 2, maybe. I would imagine not all these question marks, these unknowns, are going to be all enemies. So, but if we go that way, there is only 1 elite. And for the first act, I really want to try to be able to get to as many elites as possible. I think that's a beneficial thing to work out when you're planning your routes, at least for the first act. And the second act, probably too, but the third act is when I would start to dodge elites if I can help it. So I don't think it really matters which direction which one of these 2 we go with. So let's just start. So these are going to be pretty easy. We're just going to be, striking them so that we can get our cards. What do we have? All right, clothesline is decent. I'm pretty, I'm not really like super looking to grab a clothesline right now, though. I would grab like an upgraded clothesline, but I think Sever Soul is just a better card. But if we're looking to like not pick a specific direction right now, I feel like Shrug It Off is just a better general card right now. And just because like gaining 8 block and drawing cards, so that way you can either draw more blocks or draw more attacks depending on what you need for the turn. I think Shrug It Off is just a better optional card right here, although Sever Soul is pretty decent. It's a tough choice, but I think this is more for like an aggressive strategy where we're trying to get rid of all of our defend cards, so that way we can just try to like nail somebody in the beginning of the game, or towards this sets us up towards the later parts of the game to be able to get rid of all of our defends and just be more aggressive. I kind of like going for the Shrug It Off though, because it doesn't just solidify us into any general direction, whereas I feel like the Sever Soul does kind of do that, so it makes us want to become more aggressive. So let's transform a card. We just picked up a Shrug It Off, so I think I'm going to get rid of a defend here. What do we get? Dual wield. I'm not really a fan of that card, but I do see its purposes. So if we pick up some 0 mana cards or some pretty cheap, good 1 mana cards, then that would be beneficial. But it looks like we got ourselves an enemy here. I believe that was a question mark, was it not? I wasn't paying attention. So let's see. We have Clash for more of an aggressive strategy. Actually, technically, this is not an aggressive strategy because this would be trying to play all the defense in our hand. So this pick here, if we choose any of these, kind of leads us down that direction. We don't have enough strength to be able to take advantage of Heavy Blade, so I don't think Heavy Blade's an option. So it's really between like Iron Wave and Clash. Iron Wave is that good like middle ground. Clash does have more benefits though if we're deciding to be more defensive. So Iron Wave is decent though. It's not like, you know, a WoW card, whereas I feel like Clash can be a WoW card. So like a card that I'm excited to take, I should say, because a lot of people might not understand what I'm saying by a card that wows me, you know, makes me feel good about taking it, or something that is pretty overpowered if possible. Does that screen just flicker? Why? I'm on a new computer right now, so I don't understand why you'd be flicking right now. Hopefully that goes away. If not, I'll have to test out some things on the next one. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Clash here. It's not too... Okay, so we did end up... Yeah, let's go for the store here. So we actually did fight an enemy there. So, let's see. Is there any cards here that really, like, solidify us trying to go for a direction that maybe we want? Like, I really don't want to solidify anything at this moment, I should say. I should point that out, is I don't want to solidify anything. I kind of want to let the cards that we... At least for the first couple of enemies that we fight, I want to be able to have options to go whatever direction we want to go in. So we could obviously just remove a card, which is not a terrible option. I could remove that dual wield because I don't think it's going to be... like, dual wield is good if we can put it on like a Clash, or if we can upgrade the dual wield. I would say that would be the two beneficial reasons to actually take dual wield. I just don't like one mana like do nothing cards. I do understand like there is some power behind this, because like say you only have one defend in your hand but you need to be able to block 10, you know, you could just obviously go for that, but that takes up your entire turn because you're spending... This doesn't make the card free, which if it did, then... Or I think honestly this card could be changed if it were, that it would be, if you were to dual wield something, it would give you that the card that you copied -1 energy. I feel like that is the best way to go about it. But I'm honestly tempted to just get rid of this dual wield. I'm not a big fan of this card. I just don't like it because it wastes a mana for the turn. And unless we can actually like power out a Clash, which is like a pretty decent reason to be able to go for that, that's really the only thing that I can think of that if we can pick up more 0 mana cards, then I could definitely go for that. Dark Shackles is not a terrible card either, to be honest. Sentinel is a gain 5 block, and if it's exhausted, we get 2 energy. I could see us building a small strategy around this, and you get 3 energy and 8 block when it gets upgraded. That's pretty decent. We just don't have anything to like solidify us into going into that route. We could just take it, and it's just a decent card in and of itself. It's just a block with an upside. You know, it's not anything, you know, amazing. It doesn't wow me, but I think it's either we take Dark Shackle, Sentinel, or we just remove a card here, and I'm not sure exactly which direction we want to go in. Dark Shackles is really powerful, though, just to be able to shut down an enemy for an entire turn. And that also doesn't solidify us into anything. I think I'm going to take that. Also, we can dual wield it, too. That's the other reasoning why I took that. So let's take this and hope it's not an enemy. Oh, it is! So that means we're actually going to have to legitimately fight. As much as I didn't want to do that. So we can dual wield a Clash here. Oh, we can't dual wield a Shackles... Dark Shackles, because this is a skill. Silly David. Doesn't really matter. I mean, it didn't matter what we did there. I was just doing some BM stuff. None of these really solidify us into any direction. I do think True Grit is probably the best card here, because if we can upgrade this to choose a random card, to change it from a random card to my selection to be exhausted, so that way I can choose which card gets exhausted, and it makes whatever long battles that we fight against enemies, we can thin out our deck to be able to find the better cards. I am a pretty big fan of that. Combust is not terrible either, though. Combust actually can win you some games, and especially since we already have Burning Blood, like, we can afford to take 6 damage, which is 30 damage off of Combust. So, like, this is not a terrible option either. It's actually a pretty tough choice because they're both really good cards, and I feel like this is undervalued a little bit, but it's definitely not Iron Wave, I can tell you that much. I would like to go for the True Grit, but my only concern is we don't... When are we going to be able to upgrade anything? Actually, right after this elite, technically. But do we want to upgrade that right away? Because we have, like, Bash, which I would love to upgrade. I mean, we could always upgrade Dual Wield too, I guess. But like I said, we only really have Clash right now. I thought Dark Shackles was, but this is attack or power. That's too bad. So that was actually... It's still a fine get. It's just not anything I'm super duper excited about now. We can't Dual Wield that. We could Dual Wield that. Okay, I think that's reason enough to try it out. I'm not proficient in this game whatsoever. I'm still kind of learning everything, so I'm willing to like try out different things here and there and see what we get. Actually, let's go for the Shrug It Off first because we could draw a Bash. We drew a Clash, which technically deals more damage. So I guess we go for... Whoops. I'm using a wireless mouse right now. Usually I use a wired mouse because it's just a little bit more accurate for me. But downstairs I'm using my my main computer, and that is a wireless mouse, so reasons. This is only every time we play a skill, so if we do play a skill, it'd probably be Dual Wield and Dark Shackles this turn, which then we can set up the Combust and Double Combust here. That inevitably will help us out, I believe. Yeah, I think that's probably the best play to go for here. Like, double striking is fine, but setting up Double Combust I feel like is just worthwhile. So let's go for the Dark Shackles here. Let's go for the Dual Wield. We'll Dual Wield this Combust. I don't like that Dual Wield does not lower the mana cost. Kind of bugs me that it does that. So we're gonna take 1. We obviously took 3 off of our Combusts, but that is okay. We have Dual Wield again. Dual Wield's not going to be doing anything for us this turn, so let's just go for the Bash. And there's no really point in going for the Defend. We're going to take damage no matter what here. And to, like, save us, like, 3 health for going for the Defend is not worthwhile, especially if we can just apply some more pressure to him. Like, I'm okay with taking some damage on this guy. Is this just another all-out strike turn and just take 15 on the chin? I think that's the play here. We just want to get him dead. Like, we could go for the Shrug It Off, which would, what, save us 5 HP? Because, or actually 6 HP, technically. The Shrug It Off might be worth it. 6 HP is like a strike that we'd be dealing to him. So let's start with the strikes. I should have probably just double checked to make sure. We could have drawn a Clash, but I probably would not have played a Clash this turn. So, yeah, I think we just... Oh, actually, he's pretty close. He's going to take 10 here off of our Combusts, which puts him down to 17. And he is not going to be vulnerable, so yeah, we should just hit him while he's vulnerable. Yeah, reasons. That way we can actually kill him next turn, because if we didn't hit him there, we probably would not have been able to kill him. So, what do we got? We have Dual Wield for a double Clash, and we can go for double Defend, and then just go for double Clash to kill him. That is the best... Is that the best thing for us? Yes, that's the best thing for us. Let's go for the Clash. Defend. Defend. That way we can actually cast both of these Clashes. Because we couldn't have killed him with the Bash, so... We get marbles, bag of marbles. At the start of each combat, apply 1 vulnerable to all enemies, so we can be aggressive from the get-go. I kind of like that. Let's see. We get Dropkick, actually, which bag of marbles does actually help it, so I think that's what we're going to take here. Hemokinesis is not terrible either. Losing 3 HP, though, is, you know, dealing 14 is good. I should say that. Dealing 14 is really good. But, like, losing 3 HP kind of sucks. It's one of those cards that, you know, you're paying 3 HP to deal, like, an extra, like, 5 damage, basically. Actually, what does this look like upgraded? I'm curious here. Lose 2 HP and deal 18. That's pretty good. What does this look like upgraded? We only get plus damage. Okay. I think Dropkick is just a better choice here, since we do have Bag of Marbles, so that way on turn 1 we could potentially get that. We are, what, about to fight an enemy, and then we're about to fight an elite. So I guess, as much as I would really like to... Do we take the gamble here? Man, I am a risky boy, that is for sure. I'm considering the Smith. Well, let's take a look to see, like, at least what Smith options we have. I could go for the Dual Wield, which is not a terrible option, because we could always, like, dual wield, like, a Dropkick or, like, a Clash here. Potentially on turn 1 if we get Dual Wield and Dropkick in the first turn. Obviously, going for an upgraded bash is not terrible either. I kind of like the dual wield though, because then it makes it a playable card. Because right now it's not really a playable card. I really don't like it. What does Combust look like? Deal 7. That's not terrible either. I think it's either dropkick or dual wield if we do actually go for the bash here. If we do go for the upgrade, I said bash because I was going to say bash is also a reasonable choice, but I think that dual wield or dropkick are just strong, much stronger right now. Although applying 3 vulnerable to enable dropkick is obviously something to consider too. Actually, we're not going to upgrade dropkick. We're just going to go for the dual wield if we do this. Yeah, I don't know what I was just saying. Words are hard. Otherwise, we gain 24 HP. I think we risk it for the biscuit, right? Do we have any fires? We have to fight 2 elites. Oh, no. No, I can't justify that. No. Yeah, I cannot justify that. That is... I forgot that we were fighting a 3 elite run, or path here. Okay. So let's see. We don't really have anything we want to dual wield, so let's just go for a defend. Actually, let's go for a shrug it off first, because that's much better for us. I could go for a defend here, but then the bash would set us up so that way we could actually vulnerable him. He is vulnerable this turn too. The other option is I could go for the defend, dual wield, bash, or clash rather. Clash and bash are similar. I think we'd do that. So take just almost no damage here. Dual wield that. Deal a ton of damage. Make sure he's dead for the next turn. That was a really good turn, actually. We took no damage and put him to 4 life. He is just going to be grasping at straws, you know. Death. Death to the Dorgishan. Let's see. We get Rage, Body Slam, and Clothesline. We're not really quite into the block strategy just yet. I don't think we should take Body Slam right away. Like, I don't want to shoehorn any type of, like, specific strategy in. Getting a Rage, though, is not terrible. Clothesline is okay, too. I'm applying 2 weak is good. It is really good. But dealing 12 damage for 2 mana is like dealing double strikes. So you're basically just getting 2 weak for free. And I'm not opposed to that, but I kind of like the Rage because it does set us up to just get some 0 mana block in. So I think we're going to go for that because we're starting to lean towards the aggressive nature. We picked up Clash, obviously, which was part of the reason why I think we're going to be heading down towards that aggressive path. Toy Ornithopter. Ornithopters are for magic. I like magic. Whenever you use a potion, heal 5 health. I think that's more reasonable than taking a key piece here. Let's fight this guy. Okie dokie. What do we got? So we can't apply the strength debuff on him, but we probably should anyways. Oh, wait, the vulnerable. Right. Bag of marbles. We can. Yeah, so screw you. So we're not taking any damage this turn. Do we go for the shrug it off to see if we can find a bash? I think we do. We drew a dual wield. Yeah, I think we just ignore that. Let's go for the weakest one. I'm going for the one that's not attacking because we could potentially try to kill it next turn, even though that is kind of a pipe dream. Dealing 28 damage in 1 turn is really tough. And we already drew the dual wield, so even if we draw the Clash, we're not going to have the option to be able to dual wield the Clash here. So the quicker we can get one of these guys taken out, the better off our chances will be. And we have a drop kick, which makes me think that, like, I don't mind using 1 potion whenever I fight elites. It's painful when I have to use 2, but I don't mind using at least 1 potion whenever I do fight elites here. So I'm considering going for the drawing cards and maybe even going for the energy potion. I don't really like the Snecko. I think we're just going to eventually get rid of that since we have no way to, like, fully take advantage of it. We're basically just, like, you know... if we use Snecko oil, we're just praying to the RNG gods to, like, feed us 0 and 1 mana cards that were originally 2 mana, in which there's only, I think, 1 2-mana card in here right now. Yeah, there's only Bash. So more than likely, all these 1 mana cards are going to be, like, more than 1 mana, and the 0 mana card is going to be more than 0 mana. But maybe this Bash might be cheaper, so strong consideration here. I think we just go for the defend regardless, so that way we can actually activate our Clash here. I think we draw cards too, but then we can't. Too bad these don't show up in order. These are all random. We could try to go for the bash. Worst case scenario, we get the ZR Mana Defend cards, so I think we go for the draw here. We got it. Okay. I can dig this. So let's bash this guy, which then enables drop kick, so we can get a freebie in. Do we want to be able to do that so that way we can kill him potentially this turn with the clash? I think that's reasonable. I probably should have bashed this guy, actually, now that I think about it, but, you know, we're already so deep into it. Yeah, we're going to be able to clash him. Wait, so this is going to be deal 9. This is going to deal 7? 7. So yeah, we have to go for the clash no matter what on this, which is unfortunate. Oh, we drew another defend. Well, I was already thinking about like popping this energy anyways, so this actually just makes it so that it's more worthwhile here. So that way I can actually go for this clash. Let's deal our damage to this guy. Unfortunately, it's a lot of damage. That's kind of just wasted in overflow, but what can you do? I'm going to go for the one that's not attacking this turn because we have the potential of killing him. No, not really, but maybe I should have gone for the one attacking then, since we knew we couldn't actually kill this guy on the next turn. So that way we had 2 turns to be able to kill him before he actually dealt damage to us. That was the reasoning behind it, in case you are wondering. So taking 9. I think we shrug it off first, just to see what we draw. We drew dual wield, which I can't dual wield any of this. We could bash. Is that just strictly better than Combust here? Combust does deal 5 damage to both enemies. And we can afford to take, if we take 1 off of Combust, we're going down to 7, which means we're going to take 2, which we can afford to take that because we still have our Burning Blood. I'm actually okay with that. I think Combust is just better for us in the long run of this this match here. So we're in a decent spot. I wouldn't say we're in a great spot, but we can at least put up a defend and be able to get 2 strikes in, so let's do that. I'd like to try to set it up so maybe we can actually kill this guy next turn. He has 18, which now he's at 13 because of the Combust. Thank you, Combust. So we're if we can kill this guy this turn, we're pretty much going to leave like almost unscathed, which I am more than happy with. I mean, yeah, we have to go for the defense. That way we can actually cast the clash here. Oh, I have the Dazed in my hand. Oh my goodness, you fool of a Took. Oh my god. Wow. He's going to take 5 regardless. So I think we actually deal damage to this guy here. Wow. I am a fool. I did not pay attention to the status card. Okay. Gotta keep that in mind. That makes Clash way worse. Oh boy. Well, we at least get some block up this turn, so thankfully we can at least take out one of you. I am only gonna gain 6 block though from this. I'm almost tempted to just attack this guy, honestly, because this guy's gonna take 5 this turn, and then he's gonna take 5 on the following turn, and then he's gonna die. So I'm actually gonna take out this one. So they're both going to be dead. We're going to be taking 3 damage here. You know, worse things have happened. We're still at a pretty healthy life total, so we can literally just pass the turn here, and they're both dead, honestly. So let's just do that, because that's what's fun. I shouldn't have done that, because I just lost an extra life point. Whatever. 1 life point's not going to matter, right? It probably will. It'll come back to bite us in the butt. So we have Sentinel again, not a bad option. We don't have any cards that exhaust though, so that's kind of the reason why I'm staying away from it. If we had something that actually exhausted or benefit us from exhausting, I definitely would take it. We have Evolve, which is whenever you draw a status card, draw 1 card, so you get to basically redraw. And then we have Twin Strike, which is just deal basically 10 damage, but 5 damage twice. So Twin Strike is pretty good. Is it worth taking here though? Like our deck already, it's basically like just a slightly upgraded strike at this point. I actually think we just skip here. I don't think there's enough good cards to justify actually putting any of these in our deck, so I'd rather keep our decks small. All right, he's going to be dealing 16, which he's not going to be dealing 16, in case you're wondering. Yeah, but this hand just kind of plays out itself, so I'm not going to argue with that. Next turn, we should be able to interrupt him no matter with what he does, and we should probably be able to deal some pretty good damage, I would imagine. So, yes, we will. We have Bash here, and we have Strike. So, we have 221 health slimes to deal with. It's not the worst case for us. It's actually pretty decent. We have Rage to start off with. Unfortunately, we can't go for the drop kick this turn. So let's start with Rage. Do we Combust? I think we do. Let's start with the Shrug It Off because we know we're going to be casting that this turn. I think we do go for the Combust and go for the Strike. I think that is the best case scenario for us. And let's hit the one that's probably going to be attacking next turn because this guy might put up a negative debuff or buff himself. So... which he's actually doing both this turn, so he's probably actually just attacking. So I just saw the little green swirlies behind his attack, which means he's going to be doing two things. So we did draw Bash. Okay, does that kill? So this is going to deal 8, which is going to put you... this is going to deal 7. That's unfortunate. You're not going to die from that, but we can strike you, so... man, I want to be able to dropkick the one that I bashed, though. That's the problem, and I don't get enough value out of being able to dropkick you, put you down to 8... and then dropkick's only going to deal 7 damage because it only deals 50% more damage. And I thought it was always rounded up, but when I last looked at this like a couple turns ago, it said it was only 7. So I don't know. Yeah, then I guess we bash this one. Yes, it will deal 7. Okay, so this is working out just fine, and we get a free attack out of this. So. We should be able to kill off the other slime next turn. He's only going to be at 5 health, so we're looking okay. We didn't lose a lot of HP. I think we're actually going to gain a net positive, if I'm not mistaken. I honestly wasn't super duper paying attention, but Strike is just going to kill you, so that we don't take an extra HP, because we got to remember Combust. We don't want to make that same mistake. We're learning. We're learning. We have Feel No Pain, which is a power for 1 mana. Whenever a card is exhausted, gain 3 block. We do not have an exhaust synergy or strategy whatsoever, so we cannot even think of that. We don't have any strength either, so we still can't take the Heavy Blade, but Shrug It Off is still not a terrible card, and I don't mind having a couple of these because they do replace themselves. It does make it harder for our clashes to be able to come into play, but if we can get rid of like a defend at some point soon and be able to like just have a bunch of Shrug It Offs, I think that's going to be more beneficial. I'd rather fight the question mark because it might not be a fight. It was not a fight, thankfully. We did get Entrench, but Entrench I don't think is going to be worth it in this deck because we are not a defensive strategy right now. We don't have enough ways to be able to take advantage of it. Fire Breathing is not terrible, but it's one of those cards I'd rather pick up later in the game. Warcry is always good. Headbutt is always good, but we also have Anchor, which is start of each combat. We gain 10 block, which I'm pretty okay with. It makes it so we can be very aggressive on the first turn, which I kind of like. And this one just brews 5 random potions, which is not terrible, but I'd rather go with the Anchor over that if I had the choice. I'm tempted to just go for like Headbutt and a card removal service here, but Anchor is tantalizing. It is tantalizing. Anchor is really good though. I think we go for the Anchor. If we had enough, I think I would go for the Secret Weapon, because Secret Weapon's also really, really powerful to be able to find an attack, which would find us a bash. But I think the Anchor is just more beneficial to us right now. So we got our next elite here, which would be the 3rd one right now. So we're going to set up Combust, and I think just go for the bash here. That sounds like the best way to be able to set it up, so he will take more damage over the long term of this game. Unfortunately, Combust does not actually trigger with, does not work with Vulnerable, which kind of, makes me a little mad, but what can you do? We have Shackles, which we will clearly use. We will probably duplicate our Clash here. I should have gone for the Shrug It Off actually first to see if we actually were not going to draw a defend, which we drew a defend. So, I mean, this is still fine. We're going to take 0 damage. This actually worked out perfectly. Like, that was a fine play. We should have gone for the Shrug It Off first, though, to see what we would have gotten from it. Yeah, let's go for the dropkick here. And we have a rage. And I think... Do we want to take less damage this turn? He is vulnerable this turn. So I think we're just going to go for the strike and eat the damage here. Just because he is vulnerable. We're going to take 9 more damage than we would have. And also, I forgot that we had the 0 mana gain 3 block every time you rage. There we go. That's the card I'm trying to say out loud. Yeah, does bash and strike kill him? So 8 plus, what's that, 9? Yes, it does. Arithmetic is hard. What do we get? We have Berserk. Gain 2 vulnerable at the start of your turn, gain an energy. Or we can just take armaments here. Are we close to a campfire? Because I would like to upgrade. We are. If we get armaments here... What does this do when it's powered up? Gain 1 vulnerable. Interesting. I'm tempted to take Berserk because I've never taken it, but I don't think this is the deck for it, honestly. Like, I feel like Berserk is really good for the defensive strategy decks, which we are really not right now. We're kind of like a mixed bag. We do have, I feel like, more aggressive cards than anything, but just barely, though. It's not like, you know, it's really that close or that far apart. Getting 2 vulnerable, though. If we can find this, obviously, on turn 1, then it would be fantastic. I wish when you upgraded it that it would make it innate, but unfortunately, it is not innate. So, I think we just go for the armaments here, and yeah, I'm not sure this is the right deck for Berserk. Berserk is really strong, though. I definitely can see the upsides for it, and since we're so close to just being able to upgrade a card, I kind of want to upgrade an armaments before we go defeat a boss. I will not take parasites. I also don't need, so let's just fight these guys. So the name of the game is just don't take too much damage. And they're all attacking on the first turn, so easier said than done. So yeah, we should probably armaments, and I think we go for the upgraded defense. We had to take less damage, and we just attack one. Which one are we attacking? Probably the one that's weakest right now. I kind of like to spread out the damage, but you know, beggars can't be choosers right now. I think we go for the weakest one, so we can just try to take them out as quickly as possible. Oh, I forgot we had Anchor. I actually should have paid attention to that. That is a card. That is a relic that we should definitely pay attention to. We have Bash and Drop Kick. So this would deal 8. This would be 15. This would be 24. That's unfortunate. We can't kill one. But this will deal 15. It'll put you at 2. We could shrug it off after to be able to make sure. And we can't go for the shrug it off first because we want to be able to cast the Drop Kick, and we wouldn't have enough mana to be able to do that. So what is the options here? I think we just bash this one. Try to weaken 2 of these. We got raged. You're a little late, buddy. A little late to the party, if you know what I mean. Let's go for the shrug it off then, I guess. We have no other options. Like, this doesn't do anything because we don't have any other attacks. So we're going to be taking, what, 4 damage? Okay, well, we're still looking healthy. I can't really complain. If I can help it, I would like to kill this guy this turn. So let's go for the double defend. We have combust. And actually, do we kill this? Because we're gonna be taking 9 damage from it. So we can just either kill this one or just deal this one 14 damage right now. So we can actually almost set them up to die for the following turn. I kind of like that. Because we're gonna take the 9 anyways, and we have 10 defense. Like, that does sound like a reasonable option for us. This is going pretty well. So we just need to deal a little bit of damage. Huh. So we can't kill this one. So we'll Dark Shackles it. And we have the option to dual wield a strike, because we only have other skills in our hand. We can obviously just go for a rage here if we want to. But both of these should be dead. Alright. So far so good. This is actually working out. I'm pretty ecstatic about this. Yeah, I mean, you're just dead. And I don't want to take one more damage, so... Get Odd Mushroom. When vulnerable, take 25% more attack damage rather than 50. That should be decent. We do get a Pommel Strike, but we also have the option of taking a Warcry here. Warcry is always a good card, and Pommel Strike is always a good card. I think because we don't mind being a little more aggressive, and we're trying to be more, I guess, attack heavy, we're going to take that. And also, if that ever gets upgraded to, it draws 2 cards, so we're at 70 HP, so let's see what we can upgrade, which obviously will be our armaments here, because that makes all of our cards much better. And then we have our enemy here. We have the Guardian. So we have to deal him 30 damage, which is this mode shift. After receiving 30 damage, he changes to a defensive mode, which also interrupts him in combat. So that is what we're working towards here. I would like to shrug it off because potentially we could find another combat, another something to attack with. We have Pommel Strike 2. Obviously, I'm not going for the Rage because he's not attacking us this turn, so that's the only reason why I didn't do that. If we draw a Bash here, I might be a little upset, but maybe I shouldn't have gone for that. It was just extra damage. He's at 1. Okay, so we can deal him a good chunk of damage next turn and just interrupt this 32 that he's trying to go for here. So let's go for the armaments. It's better for us to actually go for a defend, by the way, so in case you're wondering. So we're going to deal 9. We're going to go for the defense. That way the Clash can deal 18 damage. He gets set up into defensive position, and basically we just have to block for the next 2 turns. That's kind of what happens, because if we attack him, he's going to have Sharp Hide, which is like thorns. Every time we attack him, we take 3 damage. So let's Dark Shackles him here, since that seems like a pretty good play. Let's go for a Shrug It Off and see where that leads us. He's going to be dealing 0 this turn, so we actually could set up some extra damage on him. I'm not opposed to Combust, but I think bashing him this turn so that he's vulnerable for the following turn might be beneficial. But we're probably not going to attack because he's going to have 2 attacks next turn. We're actually probably just going to want to stay very defensive. So I actually think we go for the Combust here and just go for the Strike. Yeah, I don't think it's time to set up the Bash, because if we're setting up the Bash, it means we're going to be like all out attacking him next turn, which we're not going to be doing, because he's going to go up to 2 attacks, which is 8 times 2 here. Unfortunately, we're going to take some damage. But is it worth it for us to use to deal damage this turn and take extra damage because of it? I think it actually is, because this is a lot of damage. This is a lot. I mean, even if I just go for the Clash here, that's still worthwhile, because that's 18 damage that's going to be put on the enemy for basically us taking 3. I think no matter what, that is worth it. Whether or not these are worth it, I'm not really sure. I guess an upgraded Strike is probably worth it. Like, as long as our HP is at 1 or higher at the end of this fight, we get regenerated back to full health at the end of this. So dealing him some extra damage here, I think, is not a terrible option. I don't want to take too much damage though, so I think that was just enough. We're obviously playing it a little risky, but he's almost at like half health. He's pretty close. We do have a Rage here, so let's start with that. I would like to Shrug It Off and see what we draw. We draw another Strike. So let's go for the Strike here, and we can prevent majority of his damage coming in this turn. He's not vulnerable or anything, so that is worthwhile to me. So we're going to take 4, which we took basically 5 because of the Combust. Combust is working out pretty well, though. I gotta say, I really like that card a lot. So we just go for Bash Pommel Strike this turn? Yeah, that seems like the most reasonable option. We drew Armaments. That's unfortunate. We would have loved to cast Armaments, but at least we get to reshuffle everything back in, so we potentially could find Armaments right here. Right here. Oh, we got Dropkick. That's going to draw us a card, which we can Rage first, so that way we can soak up some of that damage. We drew Defend. So let's go for the Shrug It Off first before we make any more decisions. So we can afford... we can't get through his defenses, like, no matter what. So I think we just, heal up here, or defend up, rather. We're not healing, we're defending. So we got armaments, which we will clearly cast here. We have Shrug It Off, which will give us 11. And we are close. I could choose to do nothing. I could. But the tantalizing fact of 18 damage at the cost of 3 health, which would be 4 health, is, yeah. Moth to a flame, right? Moth to a flame. I think that's worthwhile. So we're just taking a couple of extra points of damage here. It's not like the end of the world. So he's at 50, which we have armaments here, so that's actually pretty fantastic for us. We're just going to go for the double defend here. I want to try to soak up as much of this damage as possible. He wasn't, like, vulnerable or anything, so there really wasn't, like, a key reason for us to actually go for the attack. So that's kind of the reason, the justification is why I did not. He's not attacking this turn, but I want to be able to try to potentially get to this clash if I can help it, because it deals more damage than just about anything else. But now that I say that, these actually will deal 18 damage. So it's still worthwhile because it still deals more damage overall. Yeah, this deals the same as a pommel strike. This does deal more damage overall for even going for that defend. It's like an extra 9 damage there that turn because of the way we ordered that. We did get a bash, so let's start with a rage and let's see if we can knock off his armor here and send him back into egg form or whatever that's called. Which we can, so thankfully. Alrighty. This is going really well. We just have to block, 9 damage this turn. That's going to be 18 damage next turn. So clearly we have to go for the defend. Do we go for the drop kick here? He is really low HP. I think we do, because we could potentially kill him right here. Yeah, there we go. Oh boy. We in there. So we got 103 gold, a power potion, and oof. These are all decent. Feed is 1 mana, deal 10 damage, and if it is a fatal, so if it kills an enemy, we raise our max HP by 3. But whenever we cast this, it gets exhausted. So it's not a terrible card. We have Reaper, which is deal 4 damage to all enemies, heal HP equal to unblocked damage, which also gets exhausted. This is a really powerful card. Also, increasing max HP over the course of the game is not something to scoff at either. So 0 mana for Brutality at the start of your turn, lose 1 HP and draw 1 card. So we don't really have any ways to take advantage of the HP that's getting lost. Obviously, having more options in our hand for the Brutality is beneficial, but I think the strongest card here is Reaper, followed up by Feed and then Brutality right now. If we had more ways to take advantage of the HP loss from Brutality, I would probably weigh that a little higher. But as things stand right now, we don't have any AoE currently, and also this will heal us if we ever get too weak. So I think that's more beneficial to us at this moment. What do we get for options? We have Black Blood, which just replaces Burning Blood and gives us 12 HP at the end of combat. That is really strong. Runic Dome, we get 1 extra energy, but you can no longer see an enemy's intent. I never will take this because I always want to see what the enemy intent is. I can see, potentially this being really good though if you have memorized all of the attack patterns for all the enemies. I could definitely see this being something that people would take. But if you don't know what they are, which I don't yet, I don't think it's worthwhile. This one is also Ectoplasm, gain extra energy at the start of your turn. But we can no longer gain gold. And I kind of like gold, so I think I'm going to go with the Black Blood. Black Blood is just really good too. Gaining 12 HP, an extra 6 at the end of every combat. All right, so this episode's going pretty well so far. I wouldn't say like we are, in fantastic shape, but we are setting up to start to look for more of a direction, I feel like, for the next episode. So I'm really excited to see where this takes us. This was a little bit shorter than the last one, obviously, because I'm not explaining nearly as much because I've already gone through and explained a lot of like the basics of like if anybody wants to like get into the game and never played the game before. I like having the first like episode kind of be more of like an introduction to the game rather. And then as the games kind of progress, as we do more episodes, I start to explain less. I still will explain things, but I will explain less and go into less detail. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode because, and hopefully you're able to understand if you are a new player, if you are an existing player, hopefully it was more to your caliber of YouTube videos for Slay the Spire, because I'm really enjoying this game right now, and I'm gonna play the crap out of it. So yeah, that's gonna do it for me today though, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to have yourself a great day. Good luck, and grind on, everyone.